Orb, The Movement of the Earth, is a 2024 anime series taken from a 2022 comic set in 15th century Poland at the center of Europe and Renaissance. The title has already introduced three words: orb, movement, and earth, in the context of a new truism called heliocentrism, to be enforced later visually. Never in a factual way, proofs or experiments not directly dealt with. Rather, it's a magic pendant and wands, very much aspecting the culty origins of the scientific movement and its originators. The protagonist is Rafal, a 12-year-old prodigy who enters university early to give up theology in favor of looking into the cosmos. He wears a blue Stalin/Mao Zedong tunic. Fellow researcher Badeni is in full Jesuit robes. Both are Italian-sounding names. The tweak is putting themselves, Vatican agents and deceivers, as victims. In this world, his entourage are labelled heretics to be hunted down by the Inquisition. Most are graphically tortured and executed. Rafal himself manages to suicide on opium poppies, a martyr to the cause, in the way of Plato. Very much playing to the emotions, these personalities are unrealistically motivated and selfless, to be idolized as stand-ins for Copernicus, Newton, etc. Continuing, through the guise of historical fiction, the mythos of great men of science living in a time of progress. The anime insinuates that the pushback was purely religious. To assure people of an impossibility like the globe, it becomes necessary to suggest only a fanatical Dark Ages mentality would refute it. The woke discrimination angle, shaming as a hater anyone who doesn't comply with any radical notion, while giving us episode titles like I Love Heliocentrism and Morality is Something You Find When You're Lost. The algorithm and media work to make sure this one-sided propaganda reach as many people as possible, young adults and students especially, with many producers and investors, including Madhouse Studios, Sky, NHK Enterprises and Netflix. Google uses the adjectives compelling and stunning in reviews, selling a product for minds. (2017) Hollywood science fiction Downsizing, directed by Alexander Payne. $65 million to make. Deals with themes appertaining to the current political climate, and the resources psyop. The first half hour offers a glance at a drab, communist-looking society where even the relatively well-off are struggling to pay the rent. The powers that be are given the cause as overcrowding. The reaction solution being encouraged and advertised, a new medical procedure, being shrunk down to matchstick size, and so enter Leisureland, a man-made, enclosed, domed structure, a sort of Beverly Hills or Florida retirement, with golf course and personal mansion, where you can live like a king, because of the reduction in carbon footprint. Through such a far-fetched, often humorous scenario, Hollywood may introduce yet unseen, often questionable practices that have become a reality in the last 7 years. Human beings as test subjects, total surveillance, artificial terraformed landscapes with 15-minute cities. The main character, Paul Safranak, played by Matt Damon, possesses the trust necessary to let the government effectively clone him, messing with his DNA, while his wife, Audrey Safranak, opts out halfway through. In a hysterical phone call, she comes across as mentally unbalanced and a traitor. Interesting that neither she or anyone else in the normal-sized people world play a part in the film after this point, as if they no longer matter. Paul Safranak goes on adventures, makes true friends, finds love, and ultimately escapes the extinction of humanity along with a somewhat woke, two-dimensional tribe of other small people by going down into the earth through a bunker located in Norway. Up to the end, downsizing is presented as the only solution that failed in its aim because not enough of the public got on board. It's the us and creation to blame argument. In a somber scene set within the cabin of a sailboat in Arctic waters, the specifically credentialed Nobel Prize winner in his field, Dr. Jorgen, played by Rolf Lassgard, cryptically explains, quote, "The world has experienced 5 major extinctions. Another would be another." He avoids a more accurate term, like reset, and fails to know any one cause for what is happening. What can be said is that, as with NASA, quote, "We built all the models and did all the maths." A lot of self-affirmation, the omnipotent we and repetition of the word all, abstract numbers in an air of mystery. Dr. Jorgen goes on to cite, quote, "environmental disasters, pandemic disease, not enough water, not enough food, some combination of them all." His 2-minute speech concludes with a piece of evolution indoctrination, quote, "Not a very successful species, these Homo sapiens. Barely 200,000 years. Downsizing may also be interpreted psychologically, one subliminal being that the offer of going to Leisureland is purely materialistic, the opportunity to have a higher standard of life than the next person. In an early scene, we see how the corporations promote their product in a bread and circuses, TV quiz show manner. The bright colours, clownish, patronising delivery. The flat earth and firmament, again represented in a dark auditorium, a theatre in the round. The salesman or manipulator at centre, master of ceremonies, instigating the required reactions. The shrinking can be seen as a metaphor for reducing people in intelligence and awareness. The medical process itself looks ritualistic, shaving off all body hair, giving up your old clothes and possessions, the white robes, and going into a deep sleep to wake in a new but similar world. Audrey Safranak's abrupt divorcing of Paul on the phone demonstrates the pressures and ruptures put on families and relationships during resets when serious choices are enforced on individuals. As the Bible says, Matthew 10, brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. It's a film about groups of people trying to escape a threat, rather than suggesting solutions. A mentality of helplessness and compliance. Paul soon learns how the system can trick you, renegading on promises, when he discovers his status as a single person doesn't afford him the mansion, just a simple flat, also the need to work as a customer service representative. But he acts the perfect citizen, quietly accepting all losses, sticking to the group.